So many of us are bombarded with advice on how to be more charismatic. We are told that charisma is the key to success in life because it helps you build connections with others, many of whom can be potentially beneficial in your professional, social, academic, and even romantic life. But is this actually true? Is it true that in order for you to become more likable in life, that all or most of what you need is charisma? The short answer is no. You don't need it. The long answer will be what I will explain in this video. Since I am challenging a conventional wisdom advice, I know there will probably be a lot of people who will push back aggressively just merely by looking at the title of my video. But I want you to restrain that and wait until the end of the video in order for you to fully understand where I'm coming from. You might learn a thing or two from my perspective, so listen with an open mind. First, let's tackle the obvious question. Is charisma just useless? And our time would be better spent focusing on other things like skills that directly generate money? No, of course not. Thinking this way is very foolish and will only land you in hot waters. When you limit yourself in terms of how many tools you have in your social tool belt, you are handicapping yourself unnecessarily. It's best to put ideology aside sometimes and learn to integrate different viewpoints, or at least some good and useful aspects of those viewpoints, into your own worldview. This will keep you flexible and fresh instead of just bland, boring, and always predictable. Predictability isn't always a bad thing. In fact, one of the core ingredients for a healthy relationship of any kind is a significant amount of predictability and routine. Our lives shouldn't be emotional roller coasters. Such things are only cute in movies, but replicating them in real life will result in emotional exhaustion and fatigue. Second, let's discuss when likability and charisma will actually make a difference. Context matters a lot in this scenario. So, for example, if you and another person go to the same school and have a lot of classes together, chances are that you will both develop some kinship towards each other just by the mere fact that you are constantly exposed to each other. A charismatic personality would matter, but not as much as you think. The reason why is that the context itself will facilitate the connection, since you both have something in common, namely taking the same classes at university. You're not approaching this person out of the blue and trying to form a deep connection. Your environment makes it much easier and smoother to have things in common, which is very important when it comes to building connections with others. Third, it's true that charisma will matter and will help you in many aspects of life, but heavily or even solely relying on it is just a form of handicapping yourself. Think of it this way. If you are trying to design a house and you only bring a hammer and nails, you will be able to construct some parts of the house, but without the other necessary tools like paint, brushes, a saw, screwdriver, etc., you will just have the skeleton and nothing more. A house needs a strong foundation before you can even construct the upper and visible layer. This is what it looks like to rely solely on charisma, since it is merely a superficial skill that is highly visible but has no depth. Eventually, you will run out of fuel very easily. So, even though charisma will get your foot in the door, you will not remain inside for very long. This is where your actual skills and talents will matter in order to maintain your connection with the other person. Having and properly using them will lead to more lasting and fulfilling relationships than just merely relying on charismatic powers, which only last for a very intense but short period of time before they inevitably fizzle out. At the end of the day, you need to make sure you do what is in your best interest in order to move up the social and economic ladders. You cannot be a one-trick pony because you heard somewhere on YouTube or Instagram that the secret to your success is just being charismatic. Charisma is certainly important and has its place, but you need to combine it with other necessary skills that provide tangible values to our society. You cannot just be overly concerned with trying to make others like you. That is what narcissists do. A normal person is one who balances the benefits to oneself with a deep respect for the dignity and humanity of others. Of course, balance will look different in many ways to each individual, but the principle remains the same. We shouldn't forget that morality is just as important as pragmatism, maybe even more in certain situations. An overly pragmatic life that teaches you the steps to succeed regardless of the ethics involved is a very sad and dark life. And such life will lead the person to be enslaved to the whims and winds of society. Surely no happy ending ever comes from such a decision in life. So think carefully before you act. So that's it for this video. If you like this content, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and share to get notified about more videos like this one. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.